Well, it's a good morning here from it's a beautiful blue skies here for a winter's day in Queensland. Uh, our co-host is sitting in the Georgian mountains. She says she's got out of Florida, and so you can see that she's really well. She's relaxed and she's in the mountains. So, without further ado, Elise, you can introduce our guest, who's also from Australia.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited to have him here because he has been on the show before, but not on this one. And I'm very grateful to have him here. I think it's going to be a super interesting conversation. So, Peter Rule, thank you for coming back to chat with us. And I cannot wait to hear your story. I know you've been here before, but for those people that haven't heard your story before, can you tell us about yourself, how you get to where you are, and then we'll move on to the fun stuff.
Alrighty, yeah. Well, where do I start? Well, I grew up in the country down in southern New South Wales, and grew up on a farm, and had one of 6 children, and had education down there, and then moved down to Melbourne and started studying an engineering degree. I did a couple of years of engineering, and I was getting some gut problems and getting like nervous anxiety, and I started to see a naturopath and started to do yoga and started to go to the New Age shop and smoke the incense and what else? It was like, and started to study dolphins and it just started from there, from the age of 20, 21, and I just started to explore, and it's then I moved into natural therapies as a massage therapist, reflexologist. I was doing spiritual healing, sitting in medium circle. I'd had, talking about UFOs, I'd had some UFO experiences and as well. So there was a lot of things that were happening, particularly in my early 20s, that just set me on a track. Even within 2 years of starting to study natural therapies, I was in a conference in the Isle of Kos in Greece, speaking about reflexology and doing the Hippocratic Oath at the Isle of Kos in Greece. And so the journey just continued. A year later, I was in India studying homeopathy and in an ashram over there, and then studied 3 years full-time back in Australia, and then did another 20 years of working in health retreats as a naturopath and yoga teacher and many other modalities, many other things. And so, but I've always had an interest in esoterics and metaphysics. So that's always been something that's within me. And from a young age, I used to talk about the stars to my relatives. My French auntie, who told me when I was about 25, she said, "Do you remember talking to me when you were about 5 years old about the stars and all the shapes in the sky and things like that?" And so I'd forgotten about it. But and she actually had an Alliance Française in Montpellier, so she had a French language school, and she used to assess her teachers by looking at their astrology, their Chinese astrology and their Western astrology. But I started to study astrology when I was studying naturopathy full time when I was about 25. And so that was in 1994, and I've been studying it, practicing it, and teaching it. So particularly more in the last 15 years or so, more practice and then teaching. So, and I've got students, and it was a hobby, and then it was started to get paid for it as well. So it's all part of the journey, QHHT, and recently I've been doing earth healing. So I've been walking the land and putting crystals in the ground to help increase the vibration of the land, and studied with a lady called Maggie Landman and Hayley Wallace. So that's been really fascinating to do schools and national parks and things like that, and even the land we live on. So that's the latest sort of thing I've been into, as well as astrology and the other modalities continuing on. So there's been a lot happening this year. It's like I'm ready for a rest. It's been very, very fast fire horse year. So I don't know how you've been, but it's been a very, very on the go year. So yeah, that's probably it in a nutshell.
I don't know how you have time to do all of this. This sounds incredible. So much that we could talk about. Especially since I did QHHT as well. But what a beautiful journey. It's funny because we are always guided to to do this, and then we're guided to do this, and then we're guided to do
Yes.
that. And so it's funny because I do the same. I take crystals and I go all over the world and put them in pyramids and water. And so they have a lot of us grid workers out there. And so I just love it. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, how exciting. So I know that today we are going to concentrate on the astrology side of what you know and all that good stuff. And I'm very excited to talk about the astrology charts for the different countries of the US, Australia, and the UK. And I know this is going to take a while, so I don't want to take too much of my time from your time. So
that's right.
How would you like to get started?
Well, that's like how it was put in the advert for America, Australia, and England. So we can certainly look at the American chart first. And so I've gone off the charts that I've used to start it. They are tropical astrology. So these are based on the equinoxes. You do have what's called sidereal astrology, which is the actual placement of the stars and planets in the sky. That's also aligns with Vedic astrology. But the astrology I'm using goes off the solstices and equinoxes. So just so you know. And so it's tropical Placidus for those who are astrologers. But I use because these countries, Australia, America, and England, have been through so many different changes. I look at what their current chart is, because like the Australian chart is the swearing in of all the colonies, the 6 colonies here, where America is the Independence Day, and the English chart is the Union of Britain, and Ireland was when Ireland and Britain came in. So I go from those dates. So the American Independence Day, which you had recently on the 4th of July, and in Australia, we always used to celebrate the 4th of July with bonfire and crackers, but firecrackers. But we never knew growing up that it was, as kids, we just used to love the firecrackers and the bonfire, but we were celebrating the Independence Day. So that was the 4th of July, 1776. And what's really interesting is, and this aligns with what's been going on the last few years, is America's been through, and we can look at the next chart too. I'll get to the transits, but the America's been going through what's called a Pluto return the last few years. And that's where Pluto has about a 250-year, 246 or 248-year cycle that goes all the way around the zodiac. So Pluto's come around in 2022, and that's like Pluto represents death and decay and rebirth. And so it's been in Capricorn. It was just after the COVID debacle, pandemic, whatever you like to call it. And it was like, that's where America's been going through a very big rebirth. And you could probably talk more on that, Alicia, living in America. I haven't been there for over 26 years, so it's probably changed a lot since then as well. But it's been going through a real rebirth. Could you say that at all?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. There's a lot of people finding out what this is and what's going on behind the scenes, and opening their eyes to a lot of the the stuff that's been going on that they had no idea. So absolutely, we're definitely going through it right now.
Definitely, and that's not surprising. But it's not just not America; it's other countries as well, because we're looking globally here, because this is a big planet, Pluto. Well, it's a little planet. It's even been degraded as a planet down to a planetoid, and or a dwarf planet. But it still has a big impact. Looking at the chart itself, like I always just look simply at the chart, looking at the rising sign. What's the persona of the person or the country, and also the moon, and we'll just start with it pretty simplistically. The moon is like the soul, or a PhD of past history, or in a person, past lives. So you can look at also the people, and then the sun is the expression of the person or country. So when I look at the personality of America, we see that it's a Sagittarius rising. Now, that's if you're looking at the chart, you can look right over the left-hand side of the chart and you'll see a little arrow, red arrow with a line through it, and it's 12 degrees above it. Well, that's the symbol of Sagittarius. If you don't know, that's exactly where it is there, this cursor is on. And that's the that gives an impression that the personality is larger than life. America is larger than life. It's like everything's bigger, everything's greater, everything's grander. And it can also be enthusiastic and idealism and beliefs and different beliefs and also culture with that Sagittarius influence. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so it's large. It's the biggest planet in our solar system. So with Sagittarius is known for adventure and being outside. Maybe you have a bit of Sagilus being up in the Georgian mountains at the moment. It's like there's this larger than life, open sky, things like that. It's like life is viewed as an adventure and many exciting lessons, but it needs to pay attention to details. This is what this Sag rising is. Sometimes Sag can be about their beliefs and law, because it rules law. It's sort of ninth house sort of aspects, which can sometimes be that they don't see the finer details, or can be very righteous in this is how it is, this is how it is, there's no other way. Because the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini, and Gemini is seeing two sides of the coin. And in astrology, if you look at the opposite sign of Sagittarius, you go right over the other side of the chart, right over to the right hand side, you'll see that is Gemini. Now, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's mercurial. It's about communication. Now, this is on the cusp of the 7th house, which is about the other people, clients. It's about the shadow aspect. It's like it's either the aspect that we own or we project or we even marry. It's even the house of marriage. So Gemini sees two sides of the coin. Gemini looks at, and people go, yeah, they're schizophrenic, but it's actually they're like got two minds going on inside their head. And guess what? I'm a Gemini too, by the way.
Yeah.
So, it's like they can see two sides of the coin. It's like they can see the argument, but they can say, well, there's your point of view. There's your point of view. But Sag tends to be a little bit more sometimes just one-sided, where Gemini go, hang on a minute, there's two sides here. Let's negotiate here. And that's what's the shadow aspect that's either owned or disowned or projected, because this is a relationship house. And so this can be other people. So that Gemini is that house there has a lot going on in it, the 7th house. So that's also where there's Mars, which is the drive. It's the energy of the country. It's also the Venus, which is the money. It's the relationships. And we start to move out of this Gemini energy. And there's a real strong Mars energy here in Gemini as well, which amplifies that energy. There's also Uranus here as well, which brings in innovation and change, just near that descendant sign. And then we look up a bit further, we see Jupiter and the Sun. And so this is like when we see Jupiter and the Sun, which is just in the circle of the dot, and also you've got a little curvature there for cross type of thing. It's like new beginnings and optimism, because Jupiter, also the ruler of this chart, which is Sag, is bringing in this larger than life personality or sun expression. Cancer is about family. It's also can be about business, or people with a Cancer sign can be really shrewd. But it's and having been in America, and worked there for a short time, I did see that there's a business element that's very strong. There's a strong business element, and also this expansion, and let's do well too. It was like, let's win. It was that sort of, and even competition as well, which there's this sort of rivalry that I used to notice between even some of the people I worked with. But there's shrewdness in business, but there's also ambitiousness here as well. But excess can be a problem with that Jupiter. It can blow things out. It can expand things. So there's a real friendly, romantic sort of aspect here too, because Venus is here with the Sun. And so that enhances creativity and idealism and even money. And this is also, there's these three planets, the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus, that are in like what you would call a stellium. So these three planets are married, and it's in Cancer. And so not growing up in America, I don't know what that was like, but this would give me an indication that family is very, very important. There's an element of family that's very underlying here in the American culture when I see that, and a very influence of foreign culture here too, with Jupiter and the Sag rising. There's a real strong element of foreign influence and culture here. And family. So if we go to the soul of the chart, we'd go right down the bottom there, and you could see the moon right down there. And this is really interesting. So we see this Sag and this Sag rising and the moon, the sun in Cancer, and then we have this soul, which is moon in Aquarius. Which Aquarius is intellectual, it's technology, it's innovation, it's futuristic. It can be detached, it's humanitarian. So the soul of America would be like it's secure with intellect rather than emotions sometimes. Can even be aloof to emotions or distrust of emotions, but can rely on the intellect. So there can be a real innovative soul here that's always futuristic, going, well, this doesn't work, that works. And that's because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And so this could also, because this is in the third house, this, if you look up a bit higher there, you'll see a 3 in the house of these houses just above the moon there. So these all houses have different areas of life. And this house is related to communication. And so the moon in Aquarius in the third house is really about innovative communication. So we probably see a lot of discoveries and technology, that has come out of America that is being developed for communication, like whether it's radio or writing and media. And we do see this with the media that comes out of America as well, like movies and different technologies that are even used in movies. I just went and saw The Mandalorian the other day. All these different things that is like quite innovative. And but there's a strong need to communicate with others with that moon in Aquarius, and whatever it means through it, the latest media, gossip, celebrity gossip, information, news, you name it, because that third house is also relates to Mercury and Gemini, which is all about communication. So there's a mouthful of the birth chart.
So is this for like what's happening right now, or for?
No, this is what I call the Independence Day. Independence Day.
Oh, I thought it. Okay, I thought you were using Independence Day as the date to start.
No,
as like the birthday.
Yeah, this is like the birthday. This is the Independence Day of 1776.
Oh, what was happening at the time?
At the time. So this is where things. And so you had the what is it? The Bill of Rights or the Constitution and things like that were set up for the people. And what we see there is when we look at Moon in Aquarius, that's about humanity. And so the soul of America at that time on Independence Day was based on humanitarian things. And I suppose the founding fathers and things like that were looking at humanitarian, the same things that were happening in Europe with the storming of the Bastille and independence at the revolution that happened in America, in Europe, was happening around the time of the Independence Day in America. So between around 1776, you had Pluto in Aquarius, actually, which I'm going to talk about, and that was about about humanity and power back to people. And this is where we are now, which I'll come to in the next chart. So when this Independence Day was Pluto in the second house, just down the bottom of the chart. You see like some arms with a head and sort of a cross on the bottom there, Jeff, just down the bottom there. This is Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn rules like structure, business, banking, government, things like that. And so what's happened since the last few years, since 2008 to 2024, is we've had Pluto in Aquarius. So that's been a whole Pluto return of Pluto in Capricorn. And that rules banking structure, all of that. And that's when we had the financial crisis in 2008, if you remember the global financial crisis. And that was when Pluto was in Capricorn. Now, it took because there's 30 degrees in each sign, it took till around the pandemic for America to go through closer to their exact degree of that Pluto in Capricorn. So that's like a rebirth. And I'll show it if you want to jump over the next chart, Jeff, you'll see. Thank you. You can see Pluto down the bottom here again. If you look right down the bottom, I'll jump into here. This is like Pluto has already gone past that natal Pluto. So inside this chart, the inner circle is Independence Day, and the outer chart is where the planets are today. Or no, I've used the 4th of July, sorry. I've used the 4th of July for this one. So you can see that Pluto is down here, and it's already gone past. It goes anti-clockwise, the outer planets, and it's past that Pluto return. And so this is permanent changes in life, situation, transformation. And this was a rebirth and breakdown of the old systems. However, some of these old systems are still going. You know what I mean? They're still going. It's like the movie theaters falling down the place, but people are still watching the movie, and some people have already left, so to speak. Pluto doesn't go back. And so we're seeing the side effects of that. But also now Pluto is in Aquarius, and this is power back to the people. And this is what we're not just seeing in the States, but Australia and Britain as well. But we've still got the old systems that are holding onto their power, because this is what's been going on in these countries. And it's interesting when we look at Australia and Britain, the linkage there as well. The other interesting thing too is with this transits now is this Pluto return was from 2022 February right through to December 22 for the exact sort of degree. But with Pluto, it moves only a couple of degrees every year, so it goes over a few years. And but when a Pluto changes sign, which it did down in 2024, November 24, that Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years, from 2024 to 2044. So it's in the second house, which is about money and self-worth and value. And so there's a lot going on in the house of where America earns its money and it gets its self-worth and value. So this has been going on for a number of years with Pluto traveling through here of transformation around their self-worth and value in the world, but also how they earn their money. So there's a whole transformation with it's also about power coming back to people. And this is what I'm seeing here is power coming back to people. And it's going back to where America started back 250 years ago, where the Bill of Rights and all that for humanity, or in America, was created. So this, if you look next, you'll see Pluto coming up to the south node in Aquarius. And so this is the past. This is like the past. And so there's going to be transformation coming up into next year around letting go of like some of the old ways that just weren't working at all, and really coming more into leadership as well, which that's what America is. That's how I see America, is that they can be leaders in many ways. And so there's going to be some nice changes in that area. The other thing too, which is the Pluto can really upset sort of the wealth inequality as well, going through the second house. And this is where it can be volatile. It's also where the weaponization of US could come in, the explosive rise of cryptocurrency, which has also happened as well, because Aquarius rules technology, and cryptocurrency is based on technology. It's not gold, it's not even paper money. And so there's a whole structural economic purge, and so there's a whole rebirth going on within the States with this Pluto traveling through there for a number of years now, going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, and how the other thing too is, if you look right over the right-hand side here, Jeff, right over here, you see Uranus over here. It's like right here, it's in Gemini, and Uranus is in Gemini at the moment. And you can see there at the moment it's at 3 degrees, and Uranus is there at 8 degrees, the natal aspect of it from Independence Day. So that Uranus is going to start, it's just about to go retrograde, I believe, or very soon, but it will go into, it did get up there in April 2025. And so that Uranus is going to, or 26, sorry. So this is going to be like the third, where this third Uranus return, because it's an 84-year cycle. And the first cycle was of Uranus at 84 years around the chart was the American Revolution War between 1775 and 1783. And then the American Civil War, which was in 1861 to 1865. So this Uranus return, and now we're back here in the third cycle, which is very close now. And so now we could possibly look at this third Uranus return of the current war involving US, Israel, and Iran that started February this year. So this is where this cycle has come back around again. And so, but that there could be even what's going on in the America as well internally. And I can only see what I can see on like the news, but you could probably explain more, Elisa, on the ground what's going on in the States with different cultures or different people or different segments of society.
Well, I do not watch a lot of that kind of stuff of what's going on, because
fair enough.
Like I mentioned before, that's why I have a tarot show that kind of it looks at things to see what's real, what's not real. So I really don't pay a whole lot of attention. I do know that we had flock cameras going on for surveillance, and people have been fighting the system. People have been talking about, we're going to take these cameras down. This is, unconstitutional. So what I am seeing is that people are now paying attention and willing to do something about it, not just standing by and taking it. So at least that's what I'm seeing now. I do live in at the beach where everybody's happy and everybody's having a good time. I'm not in the main city, so I'm not sure really what's happening in the main cities, But that's what I know. Yeah.
So that Uranus, that's 2026, that Uranus return, the third 2026, 2027 is actively acting as the catalyst triggering localized rebellion. So that's something you're not seeing. It's a total disruption, but even the cameras and things like that, which I've seen in other places, it's a total disruption of information networks. This is what can be in volatile demand through individual freedom. So that's what that Uranus represents, is freedom. And Gemini is about communication. So we may see it, maybe not on the streets, but we could, but it could be around looking at, well, is AI really truthful? Is it really telling us, what is it doing? How's it working? What is it up to? And there's a lot of stuff I see already happening here too about that. And so that element, but it'd be interesting to see how that affects. And Uranus is a great awakener as well. It shakes things up. It's like lightning. It's like electricity. It's very quick. It looks like an antenna if you have a look at it. And it's very, very fast and quick. So it could bring in quick changes in communication, ways of communication. Because at the moment, too, is there is a great alignment that's happening right now as we speak through July. And this is going to have an effect for the few years. And this is globally. And this is not just the States. This is totally globally. And I didn't send this chart in exactly, but it's an alignment that's been happening for a little while now, where we've got a sextile between Pluto and Neptune, and a sextile between Neptune and Uranus, which is 60 degrees apart, which is opportunities. And these are big planets. So those three planets Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are three big planets which are evolutionary changes. And so when we also have an opposition between Jupiter and Pluto as well. Now, you might be able to see this, if you know astrology, you might be able to see this in the chart without any lines there. But this is known as Balbalt's cradle. It was predicted at this time that humanity will be going through like a civilization change, an evolutionary transformational change, which we do know. If you're aware, we see this. And this is going to have an effect for years to come, the next few years, right up to 2030. And it's known as Balbalt's cradle, which was a French astrologer who predicted the COVID pandemic. And in 2011, he died in 2019, interesting enough. But he did predict a number of things. He wrote many books. And he talked about this cradle around this time, which was a real evolutionary point. And for humanity and civilization as we know it. So, and a lot of astrologers, if you listen to any astrologers at the moment, they're talking about Andre Balbalt from France, and also this cradle, which you can see, which has got some nice trines which are ease flow, and sextiles, which are opportunities. So it's a really, other than the Pluto in Jupiter, which I'll come to in a moment, I'll talk more about that in the other charts, is that this is quite amazing time. And it's hard to know how this will play out too. How does this...
All right. So that's why I was going to ask you if the chart can tell you how it is going to play out.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can look at the energy. We can look at the probability of what can evolve. And so, as I was saying before, there's like an evolutionary change or transformational change happening in the money sector in America, self-worth and value. We're looking at innovations definitely around communications, and that's just not the States, but it's also around communication and evolutionary ways of communication, possibly even travel as well, air travel, with this there's a beautiful trine between Pluto and also Uranus, which is opportunities or ease flow. So we're going to see technological advancements that are just probably in 20 years' time. Like if we look back 20 years where we've come now, where the next 20 years, this is going to be, I don't know, are we going to be living like the Jetsons or, you know?
That would be nice.
I mean, there's a lot of suppressed technology too, which we could talk about, but yeah, there's certainly that suppressed technology that we have heard of. Hopefully this starts to really come out for humanity and the good of humanity. That's my optimistic approach to it.
Wow. Okay. So how does the chart end? Does it end like today, or like when is, up to what point?
Depends on what so this is the 4th of July. So some of the planets will move really quickly. So you've got your personal planets like your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars will move very quickly. The moon will move every 2.5 days through a sign. So the sun moves through a sign every 30 days approximately. And so these planets like Pluto and Neptune and Uranus and Saturn and also Jupiter, they have longer cycles, anywhere from 12 to 248 years to go around the chart. So some of them are staying in signs, like Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years. Neptune is in Aries now. It's been there since April. It'll be there till 2039. Uranus will be in Gemini, which went there fully this year, will be there to 2033. And Jupiter has just gone into Leo, which will be there for 12 months. And so it certainly is. Some things will move really fast, but some things will be going slowly, but they have bigger effects, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Particularly, Pluto and so there's certainly it's exciting. It's hard to know how things will unfold, Elisa. It's really like I'm not going to put money on how things will evolve. I think that's really up to us. how we affect. It's like this: the stars don't do it to us. You know what I mean? We don't blame the stars, so to speak. Even though we're in Mercury retrograde, everyone blames Mercury for communication and travel problems, but it's just a microcosm and macrocosm, just a reflection, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then can you, for me, summarize what you see then for the US with that astrological talk and more of
Okay. Yep. Good. I see that America has the potential to really lead powerfully in a humanitarian way, and be a leader with technology, and even show the world as well, if they choose to, with communication and travel. I feel like they've got the potential and the business aspect, because there's a very good business aspect that could really develop, and instead of these sort of war things going on and all that sort of stuff, which is a real problem and gets in the way, is it could really evolve to be a leader for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's where my understanding is that, and some knowledge is that there is, if we go back thousands of years ago when we had talking about Atlantis earlier on, and the sinking of Atlantis and the technology, that they didn't use the technology properly, and that contributed to the fall of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a lot of Americans who are ex-Atlanteans are in America now, and they're scattered all over the world too. But there's even a very subtle fears of hiding in there of, like, we don't want to do this again. We don't want to do what happened last time. And so on that bigger scope, I feel it can be quite a there's potential here to be the head of the free world, but also to let's use the technology in the right way, not the negative way.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where, and be the leader of the free world, and move out of some of these old draconian ways of operating, which have been going for a long time as well. And this, to me, is that Pluto in Aquarius that brings in that transformation, letting go of the old, and power to the people. So, and that's what my understanding is what the American Constitution was supposed to be about 250 years ago.
Yeah.
Was power back to the people. But it's like the old system has still been playing underground, or moving, or having an effect. I'm not a great political animal to go into that, but it's like it's certainly, that's how I'm viewing it. It's, to me, there's opportunity here.
Okay,
and this latest Babolt's cradle is a really good time, not just for America, to really, and that goes for a few more years. It's not just July, which is where it's the exact hit, so to speak, of these planets.
Okay, so we have 2 more countries to go. So let's
go
to Australia, and let's see what's going on there.
I do have a question without notice. Yeah. Hey,
Joe.
The 13th star sign. How much of an impact does it have with the 13th sign?
The 13 signs?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the 13th sign. Yeah, it's interesting, and I've looked at that, and it's like we have about, and it's not every year. We have 13 full moons every year, and that's where it's sort of based on. There is that extra constellation, which is, excuse my pronunciation of it, it's Euphrates, or it's sort of another star sign in around Sagittarius and Scorpio in between. Look, there's certainly, I mean, over the years, like if you look into astrology, there's been so many changes, particularly more Western astrology. Most astrologies come out of the Middle East, the Babylonian era, and Mesopotamia, and that's where a lot of astrologies come from. It's a really interesting area, and I know some people really believe that's how it should be. I mean, you could also look at, well, astrology could also be looking exactly where the planets are in the sky as well. And I've looked at both. And I've found truth in both of them. So Western and Sidereal, and I'd say the 13th sign would be exactly that. You can always find that if you look into it, you probably find the truth of it. And it sort of makes sense too, but I've looked into it. Not every year has 13 full moons. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And that's where it's based on that sort of, but that's not even a 28-day month either, that sort of, that particular sign either. So what's your thoughts on it, Jeff?
No, I've got something else to go along with that. You know how all the other planets are linked to a constellation? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's obviously planet Earth's got a constellation.
Yeah. Well, if you have a look in the chart, you'll see there is a circle with a cross down. Like if you look at where where the circle and cross is, and that is planet Earth.
Right.
So, and Earth is what we're on. We're standing on Earth, sitting on Earth, and it's always opposite the sun sign. So it's always opposite the sun. And when you look at the chart, you're not just looking at a chart with planets and symbols. You're looking at a star chart. Looking at a star chart of where the planets are in the sky. So the top part of the chart is daytime, and the bottom part of the chart is nighttime.
Oh, is that right?
So when you're looking at it, so when you look at this time of this, it's 5:10 p.m., which is in where the sun is, and the sun determines the sign. It's like a 24-hour clock, but it's also where are the planets and where are they? Are they in the night sky? Are they above us, or is it sun on the other side of the world and the planets are down that side? So we're spinning, but there's not a lot said about Earth itself. I mean, we hear a lot about Earth, but as a planet, we know about the consciousness of planet Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, which is, if you look into Earth and Gaia and look into the mythology, you can see, if you go into Greek mythology, you can look at all the Greek myths of how all these planets intersect and things like that. So it's fascinating with astrology that when these planets have been named, particularly in modern times, a lot of since the invent of telescopes, since Uranus in the 1700s, I think it was, when they started with electricity, is that it's the astronomers who named them. And then you look at the times of what was going on, and it's related to that particular planet. So it wasn't the astrologers who were naming the more modern planets that have been discovered. And so Greek mythology, Roman mythology has all come into the planets. But Earth is part of that picture. So we are a part of that. But you don't always, when somebody comes to a reading, we don't always go, oh, this is your Earth sign. Oh, your Earth sign is in the American chart, your Earth sign would be in, where would it be? It would be in Capricorn. So there we go. The Earth sign is in Capricorn because that was where the opposite sign of the sun at that time. But it's not always interpreted very, very often. You don't often hear of astrologers doing an interpretation of Earth, even though we're standing on it.
Yeah, good.
So we'll jump into Australia.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So that's the transits as well. So we could jump back. I don't know if you've got the actual Australia swearing in that's the transit chart on the outside, and that's the birth chart on the inside. So when we're looking at the rising sign of Australia, is we have Aries rising. And so Aries rising, as a country, life is viewed as a challenge. It's the ruler of Aries is Mars, so it's like that war, drive, action. Let's go for it. That's active, assertive. It's freedom of expression and a need to learn patience and restraint. You just have to drive around Australia to get that sometimes. It's just crazy. People don't have any patience whatsoever. But anyway, the Aries rising is that there is this sort of gung-ho let's attitude sometimes with the Australian population. which I understand. Now the sun is in Capricorn, and that's exactly this. The England as well has a sun in Capricorn. There's a little bit of difference, but when we look at the sun right up in the sort of up the top there, that's where the planet is at the moment, Jeff. We've got the transits at the moment on the outside there, but we've got the natal chart on the inside, and we can see here that Australia is got a Saturn sun. Now Saturn is ruled by we've got a Capricorn sun. The sun is ruled by in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And so we've got a conservative type of sun here in Capricorn. So that real structure and discipline and stability and things like that can be limitations. But it's actually in the 9th house. Now, the 9th house is the Sagittarian house. And Sagittarius is about like adventure and about foreign culture and also learning, higher learning, it's law. And so you can see here that on the swearing in of Australia, I laughed when I saw that, the swearing in, because Australians are known to swear at times. I'm proud of it. It's there is a swearing in, but there was the Commonwealth of Australia, which was created with the Federation of all the states. So there is this structure that was born at the time, and Sun and Saturn together is concentrated rational thought, good judgment, new cycle. And you speak to people around the world, they know of Australians as hardworking type people. They like having the Australians in their business because they work hard and things like that. And that's sort of in the culture. But this is also shows a new beginning or new cycle, because Saturn here is only 3 degrees away from the sun. So it's a new cycle. It's like a new moon. And it's also a desire to explore other cultures here in this 9th house. So there's a desire to explore other cultures. And we do have a lot of cultures in Australia, very similar to America, even England as well, where we've got a lot of cultures. We've got 300 different languages, I believe, spoken in Australia. Not just not even the Indigenous have 250 alone. So it's also responsible, serious, and strong awareness as well. So there can be ambitiousness. But what's really interesting, if you'd go down and have a look now, just below there, you'll see in this you'll see in this 8th house here. If you have a look in the 8th house, this is to do with resources. There's a lot of Sagittarius planets here. We've got a lot of Sagittarius planets. So we've got this 9th house sun, which is the Sagittarius house. Now, I might confuse you there. But then we have all these other planets in Sagittarius in the Scorpio house, which is ruled by Pluto. And there's a real depth here, which is the Chiron right up the top here, a key-looking symbol, a key. We've got Mercury, Jupiter, we've got Uranus and Venus, personal planets as well as outer planets. And so there's a lot of energy here. We're really quite a Sagittarius sort of country in a sense. And if you looked at the bottom of that house, you'll see a horseshoe upside down. You'll see a horseshoe upside down, and it's got 1 degree of Sagittarius symbol. Now, that is our quest as a country, which is a quest for self-control, spiritual values, and loyalty, and one-pointed vision and a higher vision. So this is the vision for Australia, looking at the North Node in Sagittarius. So there is this adventurous energy here with this Sag and energy. I won't go into all the symbols and all the planets, but it's like there's this adventurous, cultural and exploratory type of country that's like, and you could say even pioneering as well, to go even where people have come from. People still come to Australia because they're like pioneers from their own country. Even to this day, you can see that they come here and they make the most of the opportunities and things like that. So if we're looking at the soul of Australia, if you go down to the moon here, just in the 1st house here, Jeff, and you'll see the moon here, just in the inner circle, we've got the soul of Australia is moon in Taurus. Now, moon in Taurus is like in the 1st house is part of the persona. It's also moon in Taurus is really earthy. This is like we've come from the earth. Even Australia Indigenous, it's like they see themselves as part of the First Nation people, is part of the earth. They're part of the trees. They go back into the earth. So they see themselves, they're an earth culture. So it's interesting. Our past, which is known to be 65,000 years, who knows how long, goes back, and who was here and who came here and all that is very earthy. And you just have to drive around Australia or travel in Australia, and you can see that it's very earthy. You travel across the outback driving, and it's very, you can see the earth, you can see the raw earth, you can see the redness of the earth. But moon in Taurus is really, there's salt of the earth type of soul here, or people. There's a salt of the earth or down to earth type of element that is, you can see with because the moon can represent the people. So if we looked at the now, what's sort of going on more, and where do I start here? It's like, if you go right up the top of the chart there, Jeff, and you'll see Pluto right up the top there, and this is the 10th house. Pluto has just come into the 10th house up here, and that's the one with the big arms and it's like a head with a cross, and so it's in Aquarius. We talked about this with America. This is power back to the people, but it's in the 10th house, which is about governance, and so there's an opportunity, there's a transformation going on with the governments here, of the Australia, and it's like there can be Jupiter is opposite this at the moment, opposite traveling through this Pluto, opposite down here in the 3rd house, right down the bottom, and there can be abuse of power or legal battles that is going on. It can be truth and freedom and power. It's like there's power plays going on. This can be a powerful leader or major upheaval. And when Pluto was last in Aquarius, which was in the 1700s, but this was really power back to the people. This is what it's supposed to be with this Pluto in Aquarius. So there is something going on here with abuse of power or legal battles, which is happening. Now, I don't know exactly what is going on, but I know there's some people aren't really happy about some things, obviously, with the leadership at the moment of all the funds that are going out of the country and things like that. Looking at the latest thing, money's going out to all these other countries, and where we could also be spending it here as well. But it's interesting because Pluto in Aquarius is about humanity, so we're a global world as well, and there's been a lot of upheaval with even One Nation, that is a political group, and some of the comments that have come out of that, which has been about we're a monoculture, which is they've lost popularity where they were winning the popular vote earlier in the year, but talking about being a monoculture when we're multicultural didn't go down too well, so they've lost a bit of ground there. At the moment, Australia's going through a healing in its persona. That's what also is going on, particularly I feel since the pandemic. That's sort of my personal opinion of how I'm viewing this. It's sort of healing and letting go of the conflicts which occurred 5-6 years ago. And that's represented by the left-hand side of the chart. You'll see a key there, Chiron, in Taurus. It's just moved in there, and it's just below the rising sign of Aries. And so it's like the body of Australia is going through a healing process, and it will do for a number of years. And it's like there's going to be healing for people in Australia, healing the soul of Australia. So that's going to be exact around June and September this year, but it's going to be going on for a number of years. Okay, so the other thing too, which is there's a Uranus just came down a bit lower there, Jeff, is Uranus down here is in 4 degrees, and it's opposite the quest of Australia. And what I looked at was this is like Australia's having to let go of the past and create a new path and a new quest. So there's like a new path and a new quest for Australia. So I really see there's like with that Bobolt's cradle I talked about, there is changes around communication in our way we earn money, leadership as well. And there can be some opposition with the leadership, letting go of the past, but also healing of the past. And also looking at this is there could be elements where we're looking at more of a more inner sort of spirituality going on as well, looking at our own spirituality of what are we here, what is our beliefs, and that could also be a revolution in spirituality, but it might be very hidden away. It may be very hidden away. It might be something you're not going to see on the news about that. It might be more internally, more subconscious with the people going through a spiritual revolution internally, because I can see Neptune coming into the 12th house, which could be more unconscious. And so there's this, it's sort of underground, so to speak. You won't see it on the surface. That's quite a mouthful. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, because some of this is going to play out for a couple of years as well.
Oh, okay.
The same as the States, because I'm looking at these bigger transits as well. I look at the bigger transits, not sort of the day-to-day transits. And so it'll be interesting to see what unfolds for the Australian people, and how this unfolds for healing, but also technological as well, particularly in their self-worth and value and how they earn money. That's certainly going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's a question I had for you, was the money situation for Australia. What did you see when it came to that?
Yeah, I could see that the Uranus is traveling through Gemini in the second house, which is self-worth and value and how you earn your money. So Uranus things can shake up that area. It's just moved out of Taurus. It's in Uranus down here in the second house. It's going to shake things up. It's going to also bring in innovation in communication and how we earn money. And I'm seeing this now with communication and so much AI coming in as well with people. It's just everywhere now, and it's probably got two sides of the coin of what's good, what's not. I'm seeing some pretty crazy stuff going on as a practitioner and just observation, but it's also it's innovative and it's futuristic, and so there could be new developments in like air travel, but also communication, but also how we earn money as well. I think with Uranus flowing through there, it's going to the next few years up to 2033. We'll see some innovative developments, and Australia could really earn a lot of money or earn money from this as well with what they develop and what they invent too. So there could be some interesting developments that come out of it. And maybe we should keep those developments instead of selling them off. So keep something. I see your eyebrows raised there, Jeff.
The reason that was I get on really well with Elon Musk's AI Grok. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And Grok suffers from dementia, Alzheimer's. And when I say that, I say it with insincerity, because when I did do a project and then come back the next day to recommence that project, it's got no memory.
Yeah.
So when I've asked the question, it was about the other AI programs building huge big databases of every type of interact. So they've got this big data mine where they can sell that third party knowledge.
That's right.
Whereas Musk is not working. He's working on freedom of speech. What you do, that's it, finishes.
Yep.
So what I've learned is that when I finish the project, I go and ask Grok to give me a summary, and then I copy it. And then the next day or day after, when I start the project again, I put that summary in, and boom, we're back on doing the business we were doing. So, so the interesting thing there is, I told Grok, I said, you tell Mr. Musk that he's using the wrong technology to go out into space. And he comes back and says, excuse me? I said, you tell Mr. Musk to get his Dodge boys, big balls and all that stuff, and get in there and hit the bloody patents office and get all that knowledge that's been suppressed and bring it out. And you'll be quite surprised that you got stuff there that you won't have to go out using rocket fuel to get out there. So he comes back and said, 20,000 patents have been suppressed by the Secret Officials Act in the United States. 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot, isn't it?
You imagine getting that knowledge and sharing it with the world.
Definitely. There's a lot there, isn't there?
And
So let's have a look at the UK chart, the United Union of Great Britain. So the first thing that when I looked at the birth chart or the Union of Great Britain, which is in 1st of January 1801, when the combining of Union of Great Britain and Ireland was when I looked at the moon up the top of the chart, which is in Leo in the 10th house, which is where are we? Yeah, moon in Cancer. I just sort of automatically thought of the Queen up there in the 10th house, which is about leadership and the conditional parent. When I saw the moon in Cancer, so it's like you've heard the term of Mother England, and that's certainly, you don't get much more mother than the moon in Cancer, and it's in the 10th house. Traditionally, the 4th house can also be the moon, or where the moon sits, but or the mother sits. So this is very close to leadership here with the sole expression of England. It's ambitious. It's also has public recognition as really a driver here in the soul, and wants to rise to fame and popularity, but it can also fall from grace, which is interesting. It also needs nurturing, but it's also the stress and comfort of the home. So there's a strong mother bond here, which is interesting, that England has been the head of the sort of Commonwealth of all these different countries, or Commonwealth countries. But England also has a sun in Capricorn, which is in the 4th house, which is also home and family traditions. And that, like, if you know England, you see all the old antique shows, and you see there's a lot of things about the old. There's a real focus on the old, which is, Capricorn can be very fascinated by old things as a country. And it's in the 4th house, which is also ruled by Cancer, or the moon. It's also the Capricorn is the beginning of capitalism, and which was really, you could say that the sun in Capricorn represents this in England as being the first industrialized nation and pillar in constitution of the world economy in the 19th century of capitalism. So London was ahead of the economic world for many years. So you can see that there is this strong capitalism type of way of being with the basis of the Union of Great Britain. They do have a quest. If you go over to the right-hand side of the chart there, Jeff, and you can see the upside-down horseshoe there, they do have a quest for right relations in their shadow and to let go of the ego. And this is what they're learning to do, is to let go of the ego and also be assertive, but devote their life to others. So that's their quest, or their spiritual quest. Their rising sign is Libra, which is represented as fair and balanced and harmony, and needs to learn to be assertive and make decisions. So that's their rising sign. At the moment, if we go into what I can see here in their chart, is that they are just having a Jupiter return. So they have had leadership changes. So the 10th house, if you go right at the top here next to those moons, you'll see Jupiter here is at 3 degrees. Jupiter natal is at 1 degree. And so around the 8th, where are we now? A week ago, this is a whole new cycle of leadership. And I know that the Prime Minister, they've had a Prime Minister change recently. One resigned under pressure and one was sworn in. I think he's from Manchester. So Jupiter is about dreaming big, and what I understand is there's been some big changes that they've promised in the UK as well. So there's been a lot of power back to different communities, or back into mayors and people more locally, not so much going from Westminster. So there's been a very strong leadership change here, and so it's moved away from centralised to more spread back out to the communities, local councils and things like that, which is very much Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is very much about power back to the people and going back more local, not central. So Pluto in Aquarius is bringing it back to the people, moving away from that old Pluto in Capricorn, which is top-down authority. We'll tell you from Canberra, we'll tell you from London or Westminster or Washington what to do. So it's putting that power back to the local, not so much centralized. So that's really showing up the Aquarian sort of energy coming in, because we are in the Aquarian age, or we're moving into it. Nobody knows the real date. But there possibly has been also, you can see up here, Uranus up here, and right at the top right-hand, sort of top right-hand corner is, you can see Uranus here. Now, Uranus, I mentioned before, has gone into Gemini. So Uranus can bring in rebellion against orthodox religion and beliefs, because it's the 9th house. So there can be rebellion going on. It could be foreign cultures or foreign people, new ways of communication. There could be new ways of communicating for England as well. So this is going on from 2026 to 2033 and beyond. So the Uranus is going to be shaking things up about their beliefs and their culture and things like that. So maybe more accepting with the Gemini there, of accepting there are different cultures, and being that we are a multicultural country. We're not just all white English people. We're multi. So there may be some things there that brings in a rebellion or revolution or evolution. Hopefully it's evolution. And so there's a few other things that if you go down the right-hand corner there, Jeff, right down the right-hand corner, down the sort of bottom, you'll see the upside-down horseshoe here. And on the transits at 0 degrees, and also Pluto is at 2 degrees now in Pisces. So this can be, this was around June, so this is already gone, but this is permanent changes and transformation in home and family. This is home and family and letting go changes. It's a breakdown of traditional artistic forms or spiritual at one-ment. So there could have been some changes in the sort of the soul of, I'm looking at the soul here, of England going through some sort of changes on a more deeper level, because it's Pluto here as well, and Pisces being spiritual. So there could be some permanent changes that have gone on, which is like that happens every 18, 19 years with that North Node going through Pisces. So there could be creativity that's come about just recently. So there could be new creativities and powerful elements as well. So there's a few things that are also, there's a strong Jupiter-Pluto arrangement here, which also we saw in the Australian chart, particularly with Pluto down the bottom transiting, right down the bottom here on the right-hand side of the chart, which is opposite the Jupiter here, opposite Jupiter, which could also be legal battles, and possibly I would say that's what's already occurred in the government. So there's been some abuse of power or battles that have been going on internally as well. So they've been going through a lot of changes politically, obviously. And I don't watch the news, but I did pick up a few different things of what was going on from talking to others and things like that, and having a bit of research. But yeah, they certainly have had some changes, which was very, very similar to what happened in Australia a number of years ago with I think it was the Rudd-Gillard era, if you might remember that, Jeffrey, where they and England was put in places so they don't have the same thing where they can just push the Prime Minister out very easily, or vote them out even if they're in power. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can see that they're going through, like as all of us, all different countries, they're going through some powerful changes within their own country with Pluto transiting, and they have been for a number of years. Pluto down in their 4th house, so their own home is going through a lot of transformation. It's bringing things back to more of a humanitarian level. I feel that there's right up the top there, you'll see Uranus again transiting up in there in the 9th house. So there's evolutionary changes in amongst their culture and the people there, and seeing two sides of the coin, not just one-sided. There's certainly going to be some possibly rebellion against different systems, could be religions as well, or some even law too. And then we can see over here on the right-hand side near the shadow is we've got Neptune coming into Aries, which can also bring in a new creativity or new spirituality coming in for foreigners or other people, or even just the stuff that they may not have wanted to own. So there could be a whole new development here within the spirituality and new beginnings amongst the others that are there, other people or others that are in the country, because that's that descendant could be about other people as well. It could be about people from other countries, but there's new beginnings here in their shadow nature. So there'll be even a dissolvement of how they've been too.
Wow.
Neptune dissolves things. So there could be a dissolving of maybe the warlike nature that maybe they've had in the past. There may be a real sort of dissolvement of that, and maybe bringing in more spiritual values that are new, initiating something new here. I can see that, and that's their quest, is to initiate some new things with their quest. They've got Uranus, the North Node in Aries, so there could be some shifts and changes in the next few years there with their shadow nature, and not so much being involved in sort of warlike activity. But I could see that they're going to be. It's some interesting changes in Britain. Some really interesting changes, particularly some of the areas. I feel a lot about beliefs, and obviously their government, and but also around beliefs and other people, and even law. But could be a little bit of rebellion too, or revolution.
Well,
Maybe
they definitely have been rebelling against the 30-minute cities. I know I've seen that for sure. So,
they got 30-minute. We got 15-minute here.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's 15-minute.
They got 15 minutes here. Maybe they got a bigger expanse, but we should have 30 minutes here.
Yeah.
We're a bigger country, but they certainly, every country is going to have this this cradle effect, and so every country is going to have this evolutionary change and transformational change around civilization, which we're going to see really speed up. And it's because it's fire and air too. We've got fire and air signs here, and so you've got Pluto in Aquarius, you've got Uranus in Gemini, you've got Neptune in Aries. The other thing, there was another thing too that just come to mind, but I think that's more on the American chart. There was from memory, there was this, just jumping back to America there, Elisa, there was Saturn. There's a Saturn opposition for America, and it just came to mind. So there's a Saturn opposition, which can be lack of flexibility, but also it can be constraint or opposition, but it's also accepting responsibilities. So there's a cycle going on there, which is more about home, and also it's also government as well. So it's government, there's like limitations and or restructure too, possibly.
Yeah, that's more like it. I'm hoping restructure for sure.
Yeah, so there's definitely there's a restructure there. I just remembered that there was a Saturn, Saturn opposite natal Saturn there. Well, there we go.
Wow.
It's evolutionary changes. Evolutionary and transformational. It's like this time we're in is some people say it's not like COVID, but it's got that sort of energy about it that it can be quite transformational. But we can see it's more in a positive sense. Mm-hmm. I can see it more in a positive sense, even though there may be some shaking ups with certain areas, shaking up and transforming certain areas depending on where it is in different areas of life. So it can be government, can be in the people, can be unconscious too. It depends on where it is.
Hey, let's talk about communication, because I had Roy Morgan's research ring me up on Friday for 40 minutes, asking me a whole lot of range of questions.
Really?
Yeah, for the government and for different other commercial people. Communication was really interesting because Aquarius rules communication, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Aquarius does, and Gemini particularly, and even Libra. Those are the air signs. You've got Libra, which is more social, and then you've got Gemini, which is also communication and media and things. And then you've got Aquarius, which is more technological. So that can be more of your more technological information that comes out through our internet and stuff like that. But they're all intertwined as well.
Sure, because they asked me a question about terrestrial TV. Do I watch terrestrial TV? And I said, no. Oh, hello. Sorry. Means the night, State of Origin, Channel 9. Yeah. Oh, sorry. World Cup, SBS. But that's it. Once they finish, I won't be watching them. But when they went on to streaming services, I then realised shows like Clarkson's Farm in the UK, which is all about how the farmers have been done over.
Yeah.
With the central government, and the rise of people becoming more consciously aware of what farmers have to do to put food on the table.
Yeah.
It's been a very enlightening arrangement where it's actually gravitated and made people more consciously aware of land and how to look after the land, and also how important it is to distribute that food to the people. And he's using modern communication, which is the streaming services, to get the message out, because the old media wouldn't let that message get out there.
Yeah.
Then I move across to Mr. Musk, and last year we did a sailing trip from Queensland, Gold Coast, all the way to Darwin, and we used Elon Musk's Starlink for our communication. So it was for all our communication, internet, phone calls, emails, was all done by satellite. The question now is, if Mr. Musk carries on with that, then you could just get a phone which has got a SIM card in it, and you could just get your signal straight from the satellite upstairs, and you wouldn't be using today's communication network that we've got terrestrial based.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility of a major shift in consciousness, where you could just have your one cell phone and you can go anywhere in the world?
Yeah, I think so, totally, Jeff. I think you're on the money there, particularly with the transit between Pluto and Uranus at the moment, because the Uranus is a ruler of Aquarius, and it's futuristic. So it's off-world, it's futuristic. It's like, it's not just terrestrial, it's off-world, it's galactic. I mean, you can see all the disclosures and all of that sort of stuff and all that coming out at the moment, which is so hum. But it's like definitely, it's transforming the way we communicate, definitely, and even travel as well. So it's not surprising that what you're talking about with that alignment that's going on, and that's been going on since last year, and it's going to be happening for a few more years to come.
I deal with people who've got a farm. Mr. Jeremy Clarkson's got a farm that's got 1,000 acres. These people have got a paddock, and each paddock's over 1,000 acres. That's how big their farm is. So each one of their vehicles has got a Starlink unit on its roof of its four-wheel drive. All their houses have got Starlink on it too, so they can actually communicate. And they're using AI programs to find out what the price for heifers or for bloody lambs down at the local sale yard. So when the buyers come in to buy their stock, they're really abreast with current trends.
Yeah,
they're really taking on communication on the bush, where I take my hat off to them. They really have to become very creative thinkers.
Yeah. I think successful farmers have to be good, creative businessmen and use technology, whatever they can use, really. It's and you do see good farmers that they're normally pretty switched on with a lot of things.
Yeah. So. All right. Anything else, Elise?
No, I think we've
bamboozled you.
We've put out a lot of information out there, so I think we're good.
I feel like I've just spat out a lot of data.
Yes.
Like a true Gemini, but yeah, hopefully that's information overload. But hopefully it was a bit of more understandable, not too much astrology jargon, because it certainly can sometimes feel like, well, what does that all mean? You know,
right?
Yeah. With all the symbols and all the, because when you look at a chart, it's like, oh my God, how do you decipher that?
Right.
And
yes.
so it is an interesting art and science.
Yes.
But thank you very much for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. And I know Jeff has been putting on how people can reach you, but if you can just tell us verbally too, so if people are listening and not looking, how can people reach you to get, first of all, name all the services you offer, because it's many.
Okay.
And then how they can reach you. Yeah.
Okay. So I do naturopathy in person and online. I do astrology in person and online. Quantum healing, I mainly do. Quantum healing hypnosis technique is in person mainly. And earth healing is remotely. I can do that anywhere in the world, even in Australia. And I can also walk the land if it's fairly local to me. Unless somebody wants to give me a plane ticket, I'll fly there. Yeah. But they can contact me through www.peterrule.com. My name.com.au. I will have a new website coming soon called evolutionwellness.com.au. So those two websites, people can get in contact. And
Beautiful.
And so thank you very much for the opportunity, Jeff, and nice to meet you, Elisa.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here as well.
There you go. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thanks, Elisa.
You're welcome.
Head off for QHHT now and go and do some more.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.